What kind of team is Louisville going to be? I'm not really sure. This is a team that people are picking towards the bottom of the ACC, but this is also a team that could surprise people and be near the top of the ACC. With the talent they have returning, it's easy to see why people are high in them. But then when you go deeper and break down the depth at some of their positions, you can see why people are also low on them. I don't know what kind of team it's going to be. Scott Satterfield has some work to do, but there are some players that I'm excited to watch on this team this year. At number 10, we have linebacker Yasir Abdullah, 7 tackles for loss, 3 sacks. One of the linebackers we'll talk about today that can be disruptive and make some big plays for the Cardinals defense. Number 9, running back Hassan Hall, 223 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns as Javian Hawkins' backup last year, but he's more of a threat as a returner. He averaged 21.1 yards per return as a kick returner last year, and that's something that he's going to thrive at. If he can figure out a way to be a threat as a running back as well, that's just another bonus for this offense. He does have big playability. It's just a matter of getting the open field, and he has some competition that we'll talk about here in a little bit. Another linebacker, Monty Montgomery and CJ Avery will be contributors on the defense. Montgomery had 7.5 tackles for loss and 4 sacks last year. Avery had 78 tackles and 5 tackles for loss. This is the defense that needs to step up a little bit. The offense obviously needs to do its part as well, but this is a defense that has some playmakers that can make an impact in 2021. Number 6, wide receiver Braden Smith, 370 yards, 7 touchdowns last year. 13.7 yards per catch. It's offense needs to be more balanced, and throwing the ball is going to be a big key, and Smith can be a guy that can help them balance things out. Another guy that help balance things out is Marshawn Ford, very underrated tight end in college football, 309 yards and 6 touchdowns last year. This is a guy who I don't think people are talking about enough, a former walk-on who earned a scholarship. Story is pretty fun to learn about, so if you haven't learned about him yet, make sure you do. Number 4, running back Jalen Mitchell, guy who's going to compete with Hall for touches, had 347 yards and 2 touchdowns last year. Many believe he's going to be the starter for the Cardinals. Number 3, guard Caleb Chandler. Protecting the quarterback is huge, but being able to win in the trenches, to move the ball downfield on the ground, is huge. And Chandler is a guy who brings 21 games of experience doing just that. Number 2 is Malik Cunningham, the quarterback who will definitely need to take a step forward if Louisville is going to want to be a better team in 2021. Threw for over 2,600 yards with 20 touchdowns, but did throw 12 interceptions, 609 rushing yards with 7 touchdowns on the ground as well. A lot of potential in this game. There's a lot to be excited about with him, and his play really, like I said, determines how high this team can rise. Number 1, cornerback Keitrell Clark, second team all ACC, 10 passes defended and 1 pick. I think teams are going to avoid his side a little bit more this year. That opens things up for his fellow corner, but it's definitely a guy that's going to have a future in the NFL, and his production might go down, but that doesn't mean anything because we know what he's capable of doing. Louisville has some talent. There's a lot of explosive talent on this team, and it's just a matter of can they put it all together to show that they're not one of the worst teams in the ACC, and more that they're near the top still.